Last year, in response to the COVID-19 pandemic, Disney closed Walt Disney World in the middle of March and remained closed to the public until the middle of July. It was the first time in its nearly 50-year history that the parks were closed for longer than a day or two. I've made videos in the past that highlighted the incredible amount of power and water required to keep one of the largest tourist destinations running, not to mention how much garbage it generates. I wondered, with the parks closed, how those numbers might have changed. And I'm sure you all woke up this morning hoping to dive into the exciting world of utility reports, so today we're going to look at how the 2020 shutdown of Disney World impacted their utilities. Now, before I jump into the numbers, I need to clarify that this data doesn't come from Disney directly. It comes from the annual utility report that the Reedy Creek Improvement District publishes every year. For those unfamiliar with it, the Reedy Creek Improvement District is the special governing district that Disney World sits within. I have a whole other video that dives into the history of Reedy Creek, but the short version is that it was created specifically for Disney, and Disney is the majority landowner in the district and therefore has effective control of it. Literally, they're two separate entities, but practically speaking, they're one and the same. The other thing worth mentioning is that Reedy Creek's year runs from October to September. So while the 2020 numbers do account for the 4 months that Disney World was closed, it's also lopsided to include the 3 months in 2019 that everything was normal, as opposed to the last 3 months of 2020 when the parks were operating at a reduced capacity. All that to say, the actual January to December 2020 numbers are probably a little bit lower than what we're going to see today. So let's start off with electricity. Disney has 2 on-site plants that they use to generate some of their own power, but the vast majority of it is purchased through third parties. Side note, in 2018, Disney promoted the new 270-acre solar farm on their property that is touted to, under perfect conditions, power 25% of Disney World. Technically speaking, Disney doesn't own this solar farm. It's their land, but the farm itself is owned by Origis Energy, and Disney has a 20-year deal with Origis to buy the energy the farm produces. In 2019, Reedy Creek used 1.1 million megawatt hours of energy. According to averages from the U.S. Energy Information Administration, that would be enough to power the average U.S. home for 110 years. Oh wait, did I say 110 years? Sorry, I forgot to do my kilowatt hour to megawatt hour conversion. I meant 110,000 years. In 2020, with the parks closed for 4 months and rides not operating, that number dropped about 16.5% to 977,000 megawatt hours. With a closer look, the months preceding the shutdown averaged around 81,000 megawatt hours per month, while the months of the shutdown averaged 61,000 megawatt hours. The low point of the year was May, when energy use was just over 48,000 megawatt hours. Water at Disney World also dropped. In 2019, the district used 5.5 billion gallons of water and treated 5 billion gallons of wastewater. In 2020, that figure dropped to 4.4 billion gallons and 3.9 billion gallons respectively. For a closer look, Disney World would pump anywhere from 14.5 to 15.5 million gallons per day. During the shutdown, that range was 7.8 million to 9.5 million. Perhaps the most drastic change, however, was in terms of garbage. Which makes sense, since there weren't tens of thousands of people in the parks every day to make garbage. The district collects both waste and recyclables from approximately 950 waste collection containers across the property and approximately 2,500 recycling containers. There are way more recycling containers, by the way, because they max out at those 95-gallon bins, while the trash containers can be as large as those 40 cubic yard dumpsters. Anyway, in 2019, Reedy Creek performed 70,000 garbage pickups, and through those pickups collected over 180,000 tons of solid waste. In 2020, the number of pickups drastically dropped to 44,000, and that total amount of waste dropped by just over 60% to 71,000 tons. Moral of the story: guests make a lot of garbage. When the parks are open and operating normally, the district is making an average of 182 garbage pickups per day. In May and June of 2020, they averaged 14 pickups per day. So there it is. Add it to the endless list of ways the world changed last year. Obviously, in the big picture, even in regards to the park shutdown, this doesn't rank very high when it comes to importance. That's reserved for the lives and livelihoods impacted by the pandemic. This, more than anything, just shows that even when you close the world's largest vacation destination to guests, it's still a beast of a machine that keeps on going.